The background layer is the same layer that you cannot move.
The normal layer has all the options open. Every normal layer does not lock. Taking blue color. This is a normal layer. You have all the features in this. You can move this. Opacity is the extent to which something blocks light. You can change the opacity of layers, filters, and effects so that more or less of the underlying image shows through. The letters are transparent when opacity is set to 50%. The letters with opacity set to 100% are opaque, or not transparent. Background layer first use. R opacity use to background layer, and half picture cut and delete. And it would have been possible that you would have a normal layer. In short, using lock transparent pixels ensures that an object on a layer can never become more or less transparent than it was when first created, and that its edges won't change if you, for example, add a blur to it. Lock position disables the possibility for the layer to be quick selected by the Move tool, plus that you selected the locked position ones would just stay in place. Doing this then prevents changes only to its transparent pixels. To lock all the layers pixels, click the Lock All Pixels button in the Layers panel's toolbar. Set the blending mode of the layer. Layer blend modes that change the way layers react with each other. Changing the layer blend mode affects the entire layer, even if you have a selection. Normal is the default, and the objects interact with each other as if they were both solid color objects, at 100% opacity. The dissolve mode takes random pixels from both layers. With top layer opacity greater than that of the bottom layer, most pixels are taken from the top layer, while with low opacity most pixels are taken from the bottom layer. No anti-aliasing is used with this blend mode, so the pictures may look grainy and harsh.
There are 5 types of darken blending modes: left to right, darken, multiply, color burn, linear burn, and darker color.
Darken blending mode choose to retain the darker color between the two layers, so the resulting image shows all the darker colors. Multiply blending mode blends both layers' colors, and the resulting color will always be darker than both colors. Color burn blending mode gives similar result to burn tool, which increasing the contrast and decreasing the brightness based on both layers. Linear burn is similar to color burn, but the brightness decrease is based on the lower layer. In this image, the red part was originally the brightest part. However, since this blending mode depends on the lower layer, the resulting image is darker than color burn. Darker color bending mode is similar to darken mode, but it determines the darker color based on the combination of all channels instead of just one channel at a time. Lighten blend mode, similar to darken blending mode, compares both layers in each channel and retains the lighter color. Screen mode blends the color and lighten the image based on the top layer. Color dodge mode is similar to dodge tool. This mode reduces the brightness of the image by reducing the contrast between the two layers. Linear dodge add is similar to color dodge, but it increases the brightness of the lower layer based on each channel. Lighter color mode is similar to lighten, but it observes the composite of all channels instead of each channel. Overlay blend mode always shows the background image. If the blend layer is dark, it darkens the mid-tone color in the background layer. If the blend layer is bright, it lightens the mid-tone color in the background layer. Soft light is like overlay, but with softer contrast. As seen in the image, the contrast in the above image is lower than the contrast in the previous image.
Hard light is also close to overlay, but with more intense color from the blend layer because it does calculation of the brightness values based on the blend layer, not base layer like in overlay.
Vivid light is like overlay, but with higher contrast. Since the calculation is based on the base layer, more colors from the base layer can be seen in contrast to hard light. Linear light is the combination of linear burn and linear dodge, which are stronger than multiply and screen that are used in previously mentioned contrast modes. It looks similar to hard light but with more extreme colors. Pin light combines darken and lighten blend modes, which are stronger than linear burn and linear dodge. Thus, the color appears more solid than in linear light. However, the midtones are removed from the blend layer, as seen at the center of the image above, that the color of the trees in base layer looks green like in the original image. Hard mix only shows basic colors based on the original values. As seen in the image above, only white, yellow, black, magenta and red are present. No shades of colors are present. Difference calculates the differences of the values between the base and blend layer and shows the result in the appearance of the blend layer. The black color in the blend layer is removed in this blend mode as shown at the bottom of the image above. The white color will invert the color of the base layer negatively. Exclusion is similar to difference, but the midtones are converted to gray as shown in the middle of the image above. Subtract uses the base layer color values and subtract them with the blend layer values. The resulting image looks similar to difference, but the midtone values are darker instead of negative, as seen in the middle of the image above. Black color on the blend layer appears transparent. Divide is the opposite of subtract, where dark colors in blend layer produce brighter color at the bottom of the image above, and bright colors in blend layer is more transparent, showing the base layer in the middle of the image above.
Hue changes the hue to the blend layer while preserving other color components, luminosity and saturation, from the base layer. Black and white has no hue, so the image appears grayscale at that part as seen at the bottom of the image above. The color seen other than grayscale is from the blend layer, such as the magenta color in the above image.
Saturation takes the saturation from the blend layer while preserving the brightness and hue from the base layer. The black part of the blend layer is also transparent and produces grayscale image like in hue blend mode since there is no saturation associated with black or white. The part of the blend layer with higher intensity shows a more vivid color of the base layer. Color takes the luminosity from the base layer while taking the hue and saturation from the blend layer. The black part of the blend layer also makes the image looks grayscale. The resulting image looks like hue blend mode but with different saturation because they take it from different layers. Luminosity takes hue and saturation from the base layer and luminosity from the blend layer. The black part of the blend layer appears opaque in 100% opacity since black has a high luminosity because it is the darkest. The color looks similar like in saturation blend mode because they take hue from the base layer. However, they have different luminosity and saturation because they take it from the opposite layer, making the image looks negative as compared to applying saturation blend mode.